winter. Poor birdies.
Yeah.
They must be doing.
We had.
Oh, no. Send them our way. Tell them. Everywhere, everywhere.
In front of our cottage this weekend, the only birds that were out there were blue jays.
Oh, yeah.
15
guarding.
of them.
Oh, really?
And it just, they make a mess.
Wow.
We've had out that redheaded woodpecker. He is so darn cute. Eating away.
But I couldn't believe it.
Blue jays. Yeah, that's a lot.
What?
Mhm. Yeah.
Now it is, that wall is white, isn't
Well,
it?
we were pouring corn out there
Oh.
to feed your deer. We had
Matches the other three.
Huh?
Matches the other three.
That's right.
Yeah, but now that Tracy fed them two huge, I think three.
I didn't know if they mentioned it.
Uh-huh.
They'll never leave.
No, they won't.
Lynn pointed out to me last week.
Hanging out.
They did it.
They'll actually
Is
come
that
up
right?
to the window
Do they?
and stare at you.
Oh, how
And
sweet.
when you bring in the corn.
I'm hungry.
Yep.
Oh, how cute. Yeah.
But 11 at one time.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is. Well, some of them don't like certain ones in the group.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And when they hiss, that is one ugly sound.
Oh, is that right?
They
I've
want
never
to
heard that.
They hiss.
Oh, my goodness.
She doesn't, she don't mean anything by it, when she gets excited, she hisses.
It's an
It's a
awful,
happy hiss.
it's an awful sound.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, they're not gonna do anything to you,
No.
but it's just eerie.
Yeah. Warning you.
Well, you know one, you don't know who the other is. Whenever I can get this, she's two spots.
Come on, Vernon.
But now
We
they're
need a
making
big
it so
crowd.
basic.
I've seen
Hmm?
it.
We need a big crowd here.
You can't have it.
There was
You get regular.
probably,
Crazy.
You get basic.
what, 400 of them were last time, and then that overflow room, I didn't even see how many.
Yeah.
They were expecting. I don't think they ever.
It'll be everybody.
Yeah.
Business circle first.
Well, if they're
I
paying,
see.
how they gonna pay that? Hand over millions of dollars.
Yep.
You're gonna talk something.
What?
You'll have to do it. Everybody wants to
Look at the clock.
thousands.
Mine's 5:58.
Dylan's gonna be 5 minutes behind tonight.
He isn't here yet. This is go, it's
By 5
a
minutes.
3 goes.
So if I'm ever late, you know why.
It's gonna affect their pockets. They'll have to do a session. I don't know who might be supporting it. So,
This must be where you
Yeah,
met.
neat. the way it sounds.
Probably everybody.
Yeah. I do it for my classes.
Tell you a story. Last night, yesterday, we went to the theater, the rep. But we went to see the trilogy. It's a 3-hour, 40-minute theater show. People behind us and around us. All Chair had to say was.
You got 6. All right. I'd like to call the village board meeting to order. Everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call and open meeting law compliance, Jeff.
President Jeff Millies.
Here.
Trustee Jay Pecca.
Here.
Trustee Gary Finch.
Here.
Trustee Dylan Newman.
Here.
Trustee Jim Hirth.
Here.
Mr. President, you do have a quorum of your village board and you are in full compliance with the open meetings law.
Public comments. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Gerald Hawley. I live at South 65 West 24810 Diane Drive. I've been a resident here for 49 years. Next 2017 will be our 50th. We came here as first years of our marriage, and we've enjoyed every minute of it until now. There's been many incidents over the years in the village, but they were isolated and always under control. And the village board has made overall great decisions for all of us as residents. Now I feel that that is being threatened. Our way of life is being threatened. And we know what that's about. If you don't, then you should get on the YouTube and read the proceedings of the last Big Bend board meeting when they had public comments. There are many threats to Vernon and Big Bend residents, both. We are their neighbors, and we border what's going to happen with property that is being developed by the Breck Athletic Complex, which I guess is an LLC. At the Big Bend meeting, which the room was packed, they opened up the session of the garage that held the ambulances and whatever, and we sat in a room with no microphones, and every person was given 2 minutes. By the way, I'll try to keep mine short if I can. But we couldn't hear them for the most part. But many concerns were expressed at that meeting, primarily by Village of Vernon residents. When a effort was made to determine how many were Village of Vernon residents and how many were Village of Big Bend residents, 97% of the people there, which approximated, I'd say around 200 people, maybe more, 250, were from the Village of Vernon. I'm not sure how many of our board members attended that meeting. I won't ask for a raise of hands, but I hope that you were all there. I know Karen was there, and with our attorney, which I guess is not here tonight. The concerns I'm not going to go over because they were well addressed at that meeting, and again, I would refer you to the YouTube recording of it. But they had to do with traffic increases, traffic patterns, disruption, concern regarding increased taxes, decreased property evaluations ultimately for both Big Bend and the Village of Vernon, increased pressures on police and fire protection, noise was addressed frequently, safety issues were addressed in detail, lighting issues were addressed in detail, and something I had never heard before, tax increment financing. I guess Big Bend would be doing that because they're in financial difficulties. But with a TIF, I hope they realize they don't get any of the proceedings or any of the benefit of that complex for years to come if they go the TIF route. Or at least that's my understanding. I'm here to talk to you tonight to find out what our village is intending to do with this matter. We have a right to express our views as residents, and we are doing that. But we have heard so little from our board. I understand that you didn't hear about this until the 10th of January, or at least that's what we were told. That's what I was told, excuse me. That's hard to believe, to be honest. There have to be earlier conversations than the 10th of January with regards to what they intended to do with that land, which I guess approximates 150 acres or so. They're planning on doing a lot, including hotels, gas stations, eateries, what have you. The village has been silent. Our village, the village that I depend on for making good decisions so that we can maintain the lifestyle that I have personally experienced for almost 50 years. Nothing's been said by our village publicly yet. Karen did get up at the meeting and ask for documents, but that was about it. There was no expression, because apparently our board has not made a decision as to what to do about this. I think the decision should have been made much earlier than this. So what are we waiting for? What has to happen in order for you to make a decision? It's been said that we have to wait for this report and that report and, water and sewage and DNR and environmental concerns. But that doesn't prevent you from making a comment. The town of Waukesha showed up at this meeting and handed them a document representing their board's concerns about the development of this complex, and furthermore, their opposition to it. There is no reason you cannot do the same in my mind. Yes, it would be nice to have this information, but we know what the ultimate intent is. And why can't you at least express your opposition to that intent? It's beyond my imagination as to why that can't happen. I'd like to see a policy decision regarding this concept that is out there. There's no need to wait for these reports. Our residents should expect and, if I may say, demand this before it's too late. My feeling is that these 150 acres should be kept residential. That's what Vernon has been doing for years. Very little commercial development. There's no reason for us not to enjoy neighbors across 164 as we have for all these years. And for us to even think about developing commercial land adjacent to them west of 164, in my mind, is unbelievable, and it would be very disappointing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll discuss it when we get to the first agenda item. Any more comments? Please come forward.
Oh, anybody else? Next in line?
Getting used to this public interaction and get a civics lesson and local government here. I have questions too. A couple of questions first regarding. Oh, I'm sorry. Matt Schultz, West 234 South 6500 Big Bend Drive. Questions regarding noise ordinances and lighting ordinances in the village. I read through some of this stuff, and they seem a bit vague. I'm not clear on the enforcement of them or if there are limitations, things spelled out, and possibly I don't know what the process is for bringing that up to have those types of things addressed should our new neighbors be moving in across the street. That's my first question. The second one is completely unrelated. In the last newsletter, there was mention of the ATV, UTV, and golf cart ordinance being passed. However, in the ordinance, it says nothing about ATVs, UTVs. It only says golf carts. So I'd like clarification on that. Are ATVs and UTVs allowed? It specifically calls out vehicles that only have a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour, which would exclude any ATV or UTV. Thank you.
Vicky Ivkovic, S81W22620, Parkwood Trail, Vernon. I'm in subdivision right behind the Blue Heron. And Karen is well aware that we had 3 artesian wells since I've been there that have been hit. And if they do, I know they would be drilling a deep well up on that area because I asked them, and their sewage would be down towards Big Bend. However, if they dug a deep well, as you know, water seeps its level, and I know this would be a DNR thing, but Karen's well aware of all the DNR issues we've had in my subdivision. Right now, there is one currently running full speed, and one of my neighbors who hit the well first, they were told they had to dig a dry well, which they did, or put that water into a dry well and dug another well, which was fortunate for her. But this past year, because she had water pressure loss already, she had to go deeper in fear that she would hit another one. This is a huge concern for me. I have excellent water. I'm on the aquifer for Janesville Road. Perfect water, reason why I stay here. The next issue is, and this one I don't know, the board needs to know this. I went to New Berlin and I asked the planning committee in New Berlin about this individual who went to plan this sports complex in New Berlin. And I talked to the planning committee and they said they have an application process. And in that application process, studies, et cetera, would have to be done in that application process. He did not go forward with that, obviously, because all these studies. I mean, okay, he didn't probably want to do that. He moved on to the village of Big Bend, and looking at the Brex, whatever they completed there, they had borings done, et cetera. And then the next steps was converting, zoning 42 acres of residential to commercial and to include the complex that they want to build there. Between you and I did ask the attorney for them. I said, well, I could maybe see going residential's a buffer usually for a reason, but why zone it immediately without information? And he didn't say anything. He just says he recommends things to the board. Obviously, this group from both village and town presented a valid reasons why they should table it, and that has been done. But my concern also is, even though we want to remain rural, I hope the that the Vernon Village actually has the same, if you were ever to do anything commercial in this village to any extent, that they conduct all these planning things like New Berlin demands. That would be number one. But my concern is the water. The next concern is the expansion of the roads. National Avenue goes to Guthrie. These people would be coming in from all around the world. Nashville goes to Guthrie. Guthrie is narrow roads, comes down between the village, maybe some of Big Bend, but mainly Vernon. So we're going to incur those road taxes, but the people in my subdivision will have no exit to even get to 164 if, because Guthrie's our only way of getting out, or I should say Highway U. So that's another concern. I didn't petition anybody or whatever, but, we won't have a say-so on this. So the key is these are huge issues, along with all the other ones, the noise, the lighting. But I understand that the village of Big Bend will make their decision. Unfortunately, Big Bend, this is too big of a project for them. They should have requested the studies in advance. No wonder why when I attended that meeting and the developer's attorney had a tantrum at the end because he said, no, this board needs to vote now. We have done our borings. Where the next step would be the zoning, and you need to vote on that zoning now. I'm playing devil's advocate because they didn't bring up the studies. Their whole idea is their plan was to start putting in fields and then we'll work on the problems later on. It was obvious. The point here is they made a mistake as a board by not requesting the studies be done in advance, and perhaps this complex would have moved on like they did in New Berlin. That's my point. I can't think of anything else right now. Thank you.
I'm not gonna yell, I promise. Michelle Risto, W237S6830 Fernwood Drive. And I guess my concerns are the same as everyone else's concerns, but my question to you guys is, what can you do as a village, a board of trustees and president, to ensure that communication with the village of Big Bend is being met and voicing your concerns? I was fiddling online today, and what I came up with was what the village of Big Bend, in their codes and ethics and everything. If you don't mind, I'd like to read this to you guys. I read it to my husband, and he's like, "Ah, yeah." But I think it's kind of interesting that the village of Big Bend has an ordinance about not putting something that's not going to, or that would affect values of homes around the area. That they're going to put up something right on the border and something that's, like going to be a nuisance. So on 16.13.1, undesirable structures, the building inspector may refuse to issue a permit for the construction, erection, structural altercation, or relocation of any building or structure into the village of Big Bend, which structure, building, or plan he believes to be such character by virtue of its unorthodox, abnormal, or extraordinary character, scale, design, or appearance may have an adverse impact on nearby properties, is substantially incompatible with the neighborhood, or any adversely affect the general desirability of the neighborhood, or diminish the community public peace or safety, or is contrary to the spirit and intent of this zoning code. In this case of such denial to issue permit, the request for permit shall be referred to by the planning commission, and final determination be decided upon there. And then under 16.4, one of the codes says, no accessory use or structure shall be permitted that by reason of noise, dust, odor, appearance, or other objectionable factor creates a nuisance or substantial adverse effect on the property value or reasonable peaceful enjoyment of the surrounding properties or the village as a whole. So their ordinance is basically, if it's going to disrupt the peace, if it's going to cause decrease in property values for the village of Big Bend, then they're not allowed to build it. Yet they don't care about the fact that they're bordering two other villages and they're wanting to put up a structure. So what will the village of Vernon do to say, hey, you guys have this as an ordinance, and now you're going to put something in between two different villages that does not work with the area? And I think that's a major concern that, I know you don't want to get into the whole politics and, have feuding villages and, everything like that. But
if you guys are truly with the majority of the people that are probably here tonight are, you know, we have to come together as a village and make sure that, you know, you guys have our backs, we have your backs, and something needs to be brought up. And also, with that wonderful meeting that was held, I feel that the Village of Big Bend, they they did a lot of things wrong. They didn't have a microphone. We have a microphone, and we have like what, 20 people here? We have a microphone. They had the fire trucks going after they were on that call, and they backed up intentionally to the buildings. My daughter was with us. She started to get a headache. And granted, we were in the middle of the whole area. And they had the person calling the 2-minute timer was one of the ladies that was for the actual, she wasn't even a village member. A village board member, in my opinion, should have been the one calling the time. And it was somebody who was for, so I don't know if there's anything that can be done with that either, but they should have called that meeting. That meeting should not have taken place because they didn't even have the proper amount of seating. That meeting should have been held because they knew, but they did it intentionally, that, you know, there were going to be a lot of people there. It should have gone to the elementary school. And also, they knew a lot of people were going to be there, so they put them in the overflow, which is really not the overflow because it's actually the boardroom. That, I don't know, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, the TV feed was completely lost. So the people that were back there didn't get to hear. And it was really glitchy as far as from what I was told from another person that was in there. So I don't know if there's anything that you guys can do, but I really think that, you know, not legal action, but they did things wrong, and I think that should be addressed somehow, some way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Mary Sikora, S64W24655 Susan Street. So how do we find out? I know you're just taking public comment. How do we get feedback on all that comment to us? What's the next step? How do we know what you as a board are going to do? So that's my one question. My concerns are the same as everybody else's. And do any of you know, I checked online, I can't seem to find any future meetings for Big Bend's board when they might be getting together again to discuss this. That's all I have.
Thank you.
The calendar doesn't show that.
Oh, trust me, there's a conversation about that. My name is Deanne Sudiga. I live at S67W23715 Fernwood Court. First, I just want to thank the board members who did attend the Village of Big Bend joint hearing meeting last Thursday, January 29th. I know a few of you spoke. I remember there was a lot of people that talked, so I don't remember everybody, but I do remember Karen coming up. Jay, I remember you coming up and specifically opposing the complex. So appreciate that, and anybody else that did speak. Also want to say whoever's handling the Village of Vernon website, great job. Much easier to find information on the village's government-related items compared to the Village of Big Bend site. Questions, Karen, I know you had requested to receive copies of certain reports on January 29th. Wondering if you did receive those, and if you did, what those reports revealed. Some other people have talked about the way the Village of Big Bend handled the meeting on the 29th, and I'm just wondering, do you know if there's any repercussions for the manner in which the Village of Big Bend joint public hearing was conducted, because there was not enough space, because people who were spoke did not have any amplification resources, and the poor feed quality for those in the overflow room, and watching at home. I got several texts from people in the overflow room as well as people watching from home just saying, hey, can you let them know we can't hear anything? I'm also wondering if this is the reason for agenda item 5L tonight that you guys have. What is the Village of Vernon's plan of action? What are your next steps regarding, just in general, regarding the Breck Athletic Complex? And lastly, wondering if improvements need to be made to Skyline Avenue and Big Bend Road due to the complex, if they move forward with it, who is responsible for those costs? Thank you.
Diane, what's your last name? I'm sorry, dear.
Soetenga. It's Soetenga.
Thank you, dear.
Any other public comments?
Mary Peterson, Petersen, W232S6015, Charles Drive, Village of Waukesha, 53189. My comment is very, very general, but it is very impactful. The negative financial consequences of the Breck complex far outweigh, up into the universe, far outweigh the financial benefits that Gary Wisher, the developer, is saying is going to benefit Big Bend and anyone around the area. Amazing financial catastrophic consequences. I ran a study of the financial problems of sports complexes around the country. And I sent that to the Vernon, the Village of Big Bend trustees. Many are having major financial problems, major. So who's going to be responsible for all that if this gigantic thing that Gary Wisher is promoting is going to start failing? Who is going to be responsible for holding all that dollar? Big Bend? The area residents? How is that going to work? Nobody is talking about any of the negative financial impacts. Property values. It's absolutely tragic. People move out here for specific reasons. My husband and I lived out in Genesee. We had a huge property. We moved here 4 years ago for the quiet, the solitude, the amazing neighbors around the whole area. Do we want anything this gigantic out there? That's not why we moved here. And I understand that's not the focus of what this is all about. But I agree with every single thing that anybody has ever said, all of the things that were brought up at the Big Bend meeting. And I appreciate your listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Chris Beto, S67W247 Skyline Avenue. I want to thank everyone on the board. I saw a lot of faces at the Big Bend meeting. And when I moved out here, I saw all of these signs up about rural home cemetery. And at first I thought, wow, this place is really cool. You can bury your relatives in the backyard. And then found out that it was Big Bend stealing our land. Not really, but anyways, given that, learning a little bit about that and learning a little bit about Big Bend, it seems as though they might not be such a good partner. And I am just curious, I'm sure that they're going to push this through. What can we do to strategize to stop it? Because I do not trust them on being a faithful partner to their residents and certainly people outside of their boundaries. So I guess planning for the worst so that we're ready to take them on in court or whatever we need to do. I'm just curious if there are conversations happening amongst the board on how we can stop Big Bend yet again. Thank you.
Any more public comments? Any public comments? Last.
Jackie Trimborn, W235 and 6720 Salem Court. We have our home in Vernon, but we have a sliver of land in Big Bend. We are right across the street from this. I know you guys probably can only do so much, but please, please, please do everything you can to stop this. My house value will go down, and that will mean it will be the domino effect, and that will affect Vernon. So, thank you.
Gerald Hawley again, I already signed in with you. I was remiss in not submitting a list of comments from our neighbor who could not be here tonight. He had surgery today. But he has given me permission to tell you that he has put his home on the market. This is just too much for him to contemplate in terms of what's going on in our village.
Gerald, can you state his name and address for the record?
Yes. Randy St. Lawrence, ST capital LAWRENCE, South 64 West 24615, Susan Street, Waukesha, 53189.
Gerald, did you want to read his letter? I mean, is it long?
Well, I covered most of the
Okay.
comments that are in here.
Do you mind if I make a copy so I can have it for my
You may
record?
have this copy.
Okay,
Unfortunately, he did not sign it, but he has his name.
that's fine.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot that.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Any more public comments?
I just have a question. Is that okay?
Well, we're not allowed to answer
But you can, she can
questions,
ask.
but you can ask.
I noticed in Big Bend, when you go down 164 to the left, there's that welding business. And next to that, just north of it, there's land for sale. North of that are two houses. One looks vacant. And then there's the park and ride. It looks like that's a good chunk of land. Why doesn't Breck think of going over there in Big Bend?
What's your name and address, dear?
Marion Hawley.
Same address as Gerald?
Yes.
Sorry, dear.
Land for sale, and it's
We've
already
been married
business.
55 years, so she's been with me for the haul.
I'm sorry. That was funny.
Any other public comments? Public comments?
Can I say something else again? All right. I'm really riled up tonight. I'm on the board of the Waukesha County Historical Society. And I was at Mary Peterson, do I have to say my name again?
No, I got you,
No?
Mary.
Okay.
Yep.
I was at an event today and met with a mayoral candidate. Mayor Riley was at the event. He was at our event last night at the Waukesha Historical Society. I mentioned all of this going on here, what's going on with Big Bend and the surrounding area, to so many people at the events today and last night with Mayor Riley and a future mayoral candidate. They're like, "You've got to be kidding," quote, end quote. They could not believe that this is what was going to be happening here. I mentioned to both of them that I had heard that, hey, you know, if we don't have enough police in Big Bend, we'll just go to Waukesha. We'll get the police there. Mayor Riley said, no way, absolutely no way. The new mayoral candidate said, no. She said, absolutely not. And she said, if they come to us and say, hey, we need your police, we're going to say, look, you have that complex,
you get your own police. That's your problem. So there's a lot of people in Waukesha that are Waukesha City, that are very, very concerned about what's going on here. Land use contracts. There's a lot of stuff going on underneath the table that I would like to be able to share somehow. But I wanted to say what happened. Both I talked to people today and last night, the mayor of Waukesha. But anyway, I talked to people in Wind Lake. They have no idea that this is going on. They will also be impacted because they have to come up through this way. There's a lot of other people besides the villages here that are going to be impacted by all this. But Big Bend has something going on that I really can't talk about here legally. So,
God, call me.
yeah. I know of the owner of the land that he's trying to sell and what's going on with that. So, but anyway, that's me again. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I got a few things too. If I usually don't speak twice, but those that didn't attend the meeting, there was one guy who bought land. This young man bought land with 5 children right there. And he said if that wouldn't have happened, he wouldn't have bought the land. I also did contact, I don't know if I should say this, Karen, or not. Is this taped?
Oh yeah, you're broadcasting now, so don't
Okay.
swear.
Okay. I
We
did
never swear in
contact
Bend.
some other municipalities that have something to do with, and they're going through their attorney to find out if they can give me that information. And then perhaps the village of Big Bend has been told they're going to make $1.72 million each year on this. I don't get where that number came up because most of it is soccer, baseball fields, etc. So it's cheaper for the land developer if they choose to go under and not build their hotel. And the Big Bend residents will be responsible for whatever does go up there. And as I stated earlier, and I was hoping you guys do have something in place to follow New Berlin's, how you set up, you do all your studies, etc., before we even make a consideration. They've already started there. Kind of cart before the horse. The other item that I did not bring up is the communities that would benefit from this would maybe be McGuanago would build a hotel. Are we going to have one down on Big Bend somewhere where there's open land, or up at the hill? But really, people from Wind Lake, Burlington, to have 500,000 people a year, they're going to all benefit from it. Big Bend and the people in these 2 villages will absolutely not benefit. So that's kind of what I wanted to tell you. So.
Hi. Jan Pancratz, W254, South 6480, McGregor Court, Vernon. I wasn't planning on speaking. I don't have anything prepared, but, bottom line is obviously we can't vote and you can't vote on that 42 acres. It's Big Bend's land. They can do what they want to do. If they change it to residential, not a lot we can do about it. But I was wondering if the things we could do, maybe we could get a lawyer with the village of Waukesha, maybe share expenses with that. I know you guys have thought of this stuff. I just know you have. Put in a decibel noise limit in our village. Put in the limits for, I don't know, the speeds in the streets, and start going outwards with the ordinances. Start putting in a lot of ordinances that they can't. The lights have to be, yippity yappity. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, just trying to figure out what ordinances we can put in place ahead of this facility going in. But I do understand, bottom line is, I mean, look at how well it turned out when we shared fire trucks with them. Didn't that turn out real well years ago? We had to split apart from them. So let's not get into bed with these people any more than we have to. So that's all I wanted to say. Sorry.
Any more public comments? Public comments, last call. All right, moving on to miscellaneous matters. First one, Village of Big Bend public hearing on January 29th. The reason why we put this on the agenda is because legally we cannot talk amongst ourselves. We put it on the board agenda so we can discuss these options. At the previous board meeting, we all agreed that we were against this development taking place. At that meeting, I spoke on behalf of the village board. I know Trustee Pecca was there. He spoke. Dylan Newman was there. Trustee Hirth was there. We were all there. We were present. We were listening. A lot of great comments, a lot of concerns. And that's why we have it on here tonight to try to discuss, see what else we can do as a board. Because technically, Big Bend doesn't have to listen to us. I did like that idea though about noise ordinances. If we can enforce that from a neighboring community.
Parking. When they
Well-
spill over.
Parking
Light-
we can absolutely enforce.
Parking we can enforce on our roads.
Lighting, I don't know how much there is that we can do there. I talked to my own civil litigation attorney, who's also a municipal judge, about this, and he pretty much had told me that, as much as I'd love to say, let's just sue him, because that'd be great. That there isn't much you can do legally prior to a decision being made. You can't pre-sue them for a decision they haven't made yet. Now, I'd love to explore the option of pursuing some sort of legal action, at least preemptively, should, that decision be made. I don't know which angle, I'm not an attorney. I don't know which angle that could be at, but I'd love to hear from our attorney to see what that could be. And I think it'd be money well spent.
I know somebody mentioned sharing legal services with Waukesha. I don't know if that could be an option.
We have the same attorney.
Okay, well that's
You
excellent.
can always ask, yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, and he's good. He's good. He argues in front of the Supreme Court. He's really good.
We are going to do what we can.
Will you come out with a formal statement and send it to Big Bend?
Sure.
Yeah,
Karen,
I'm okay with that.
I think we should be on record.
Will we need a official motion under this to draft that?
You can just instruct staff based on all the information that was presented at that meeting. It also would be nice if some of the residents could write to the district attorney about that meeting.
There
About
were
the-
a lot of errors in that meeting.
And
So if you don't know Robert's rules or how that's supposed to be conducted, what would we tell the district attorney?
the best thing to tell that district attorney is you attended a public hearing and you could not hear, you could not see. There were the diesel trucks, the sound, the lights, people were put in separate rooms. There was no broadcast done to those people. You make a list of everything, and you're not making anything up. You factually tell the district attorney's office what happened. That weighs a lot more weight than coming from a municipality, because we should know better. But if a citizen went to that meeting, and you all know how that meeting transpired, that's the best thing you could do from a citizen standpoint, because you do have rights. And a public hearing, there are set certain provisions, a land use amendment, the zoning amendments, all those have to follow state statutes. And we do have a closed session set up with our attorney, and if the board wouldn't mind, if you would allow me to contact the Village of Waukesha also to see if we could work together, because then Ramses would represent both of us. But in the meantime, if residents could do that, and I would copy the Village of Big Bend so that they get that to Attorney Schoberg, because he was there at that meeting also. And if a board doesn't know something, we don't have our attorney here unless it's a really big meeting. We wanted him here tonight. No, I'm kidding. But we normally don't have our attorney, but the village always has their attorney there. But going to the district attorney with your legitimate complaints, you're not making all the comments you made, you weren't making up. Everybody was at that meeting, can tell you what happened. And your rights as a citizen, whether you live in Vernon, that's a public hearing. You don't delineate on you're not the right public. That's what public hearings are for. And we do have a closed session that is going to be set up with Ramsey's, and maybe it would be nice, to include the Village of Waukesha also, because, and I hate to say to him, I have a lot of things I'd like to say, but I'd like to say it to our attorney to see what he thinks, but I mean, if I was a regular citizen and I attended that meeting and wanted to hear what was going on, wanting to hear the proposal, when someone told you, when the crowd was saying we can't hear, when Breck was publicizing their commercial, people were saying we can't hear, and the response is, well, it's on Facebook. How does that? There was no presentation from the planner on what the development was. Your information that you got, Gerald, you're right, I got mine on January 9th. The information that we got was the same that you, there was nothing more. I did put the planner, Ben, he gave us that, and I am going to put up the city attorney from New Berlin, because I've been in contact with New Berlin also. We'll put that up on the website so you can see what happened in New Berlin. They never even got to a meeting because, well, you'll see in the letter, but anything we get, we're putting up on our website and on Facebook so you can read exactly what information we're getting. But we do, like I said, we do have a meeting, but it would be a good idea if the board doesn't mind me calling the Village of Waukesha and
No, if we can share costs, all the better.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sharing costs.
Yeah. The other thing, too, it wasn't the fire trucks parked out back, those were two ambulances. And they were worried about the fuel lines freezing up. And I go, they're not going to freeze up in an hour's time.
They could have also moved them. They could have moved them across the street and parked them on the side.
Yeah, they were up close.
We had headaches
My-
in the back.
My other concern is, I don't think the Big Bend residents realize what's going to do to their property taxes, what this is going to cost them.
There was some there. I'd say there was about 15.
But
I mean, not a lot,
Yeah.
but
And
they were all opposed.
I
There was
also
only
did
two
have a
there
right.
that were sitting in front of the podium. One that, truthfully, one that actually, they told me I was first at the door. They told me you couldn't enter the room until the cop said you could do that. When that door was open, the guy sitting right to the podium, because I questioned that, he was already seated. That attorney or the woman that was screaming, stop, 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 even though Bindle was doing the timing, she's going time, and the guy next to it was for him, who handed the board all this information before he came back to start. So he took up more time than anybody because he was handing. Those were the only three that were for it. The rest of the Big Bend residents and this young couple that came only because they knew a couple that I knew, young couple, they were against it. The rest of the few members that were from Big Bend or taxpayers the rest of them were against it, and there wasn't that many. I was not in the overflow room, so I don't know what was in there, but in the main room, there were speakers. There were a number of them against it, but a very low number. I don't know why this wasn't even, it was televised, as I stated. I went to the planner in New Berlin and asked what their process was, and that's why I was scared about. I don't know what the process is here, but the
Night and
reason why
day.
that developer did not go forward is because you had to do all this stuff in the application process. He didn't want to do all these studies. Then moved on to this one. And they're kind of doing they already did borings and that. And the next step was to have this zoned. And they had to, I believe, listen to the people around that before you make that choice, which I believe is their order they were going in. They could have made that choice that day, but fortunately for everybody, it was tabled. But that doesn't negate the fact that if they've met some of the study reports or whatever they're going to do now, that they could still bring it up and the board make that decision. I have stated that it should be a referendum anyway to the taxpayers of Big Bend, and their transparency should be on both sides. Both sides, for and against, should be given to the taxpayers of Big Bend to make that on a referendum. Not just, well, I didn't tell them this, but not just say, are you for it and against it, and they vote yes. They would have to have monetary things included in that referendum, as far as I'm concerned, and that's it. But they have not given the village of Big Bend any transparency, anything about going forward, so these people don't know what the cost of a what do you call those things that hold water? A water tower. The cost of the water tower, the cost of the sewer, the cost of the laterals that they would have to hook up. They don't have that in there. My son, which I have information on that, my son actually lives in the Waukesha City. His taxes over they warned about getting that money from Michigan, for to redo their towers and that. His single person, he pays $170 as a single person. It went up horrendous in Waukesha. They did not even give projections to, they haven't laid out anything to the taxpayers of Big Bend. And I think if, they're all about money too, as far as what's going to cost them, and there's no information given to them whatsoever, approximate costs. It's like, let's move one step at a time. That, unfortunately, they had to go back they went to the sheriff's department, then they had to go back to the police department because the village of Big Bend had a fit about it, and that was a couple years ago. So this one, if the board goes through with zoning it, it's going to be very difficult for the village of Big Bend to undo this deal like they did with the police department. And it's not fair to the people of Big Bend. Naturally, it's not fair to the Vernon and Waukesha villages, and that's all I got to say.
You guys okay with relaxing the rules here? Because technically, we're not supposed to allow public comments once we're in the miscellaneous matters here, so we'll relax the rules.
I have a request. Karen, could you share Attorney Shoburn's name and contact information? So when we write that letter, it's to the proper address.
Okay.
And the DA.
I'll put those both on the website. And I'm Jackie, I'm sending this to you, and then a couple of your people. The city attorney's letter will go on our Facebook and our website, but I'm also sharing, Jackie, I'll put it out to you because I know you can get it out to your people also. And there's one thing I have to state. I mean, it's Dave Ball, whose property, his family owns that property now, his children. And I have to state, when that one gentleman stood up and said Vernon had their chance, Dave Ball was promised by Jamie Sonnenberg if he would annex his property into the village of Big Bend, he'd have sewer and water in at his property within 1 to 2 years maximum. You can ask Dave Ball that, and he's very angry. He went to Warren Lasik, who was the village president afterwards, and asked him, what are the chances of sewer and water coming to my property, because that's what I was promised. And so was Renee Garibay, that if they would come into the village, they were promised that. And that was in 2009. Do you see any sewer or water on it? Well, you see water on the property, but only when it rains. But that really made me mad.
I had a resident request signs. Is somebody making signs? They can purchase them from anybody? Anybody?
What signs are you referring to?
No brick.
The small ones or the?
No brick.
Yeah, just.
24 by 18. I designed those and had them ordered.
Not the 24 by 18.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the 24 by 18.
We were working on.
Sorry, I was.
I mean, yeah, outside, putting outside in the yard.
I think we're still working on that to try to get them together.
Okay.
I know we have a couple of big signs, the 5 by 25s. Those are in feet. So.
Well, I know when our police officer was called because somebody cut the strips by the prop. Yeah, and I wanted to let you know, we would never, ever.
No,
If
I know, I know
thought it
exactly
was-
how it happened.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's,
I was in the wrong. I didn't know I was in the wrong. I was on the public easement, and I'm pretty sure I know who called it in. We're not gonna say names, but they called the county.
One of three
department.
people.
you mean the one that was hanging on the person, on the sign, on the fence?
Yes, on the retaining
Oh,
wall. That's county easement. The county owns the fence. The chain link fence is county owned.
oh, okay.
So anything beyond that is their land, not to be touched.
but
So-
there is a lady named Jackie at the,
County
Waukesha
garage?
County Garage, and she specifically told me that if anybody wants to put up signs, near a county road, to give her a call. Her name's Jackie, and she answers the phone there. Sweet lady. She will tell you if it is allowed or not, so that it won't get taken down. If anybody does.
And the county is good if they take down, trust me, I know. If they take down your sign, they're really good about taking it to their DPW. They don't destroy them or anything.
We got it back.
Oh, that's good.
No problems.
Yeah, they took down one of my election signs and let it lay.
Did they?
Yeah. So,
Darn county.
Aside from the nuisance that was brought up, there are homes, besides DeLuca's, forget it, won't have a problem, but there are, residents along Big Bend Road that are from Big Bend that would technically be a nuisance to their own taxpayers. I don't know if that would be considered what the other one brought up earlier. There are homes that are in Big Bend, along Big Bend Road,
And I think our lighting ordinance, I think our decimal point ordinance, I think our public news, I think our ordinances are very strong,
Yeah.
very strong.
yeah,
Now we just gotta
I'm
see if
we
they
can
hold any-
enforce them in a neighboring community or not, though. Yeah.
Well, light is light.
The noise,
Filtration
the
is
noise,
filtration.
You know,
Noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
noise and lighting.
I'm sure there is, they can just change their ordinance, though. I
Yeah.
hate to be, it's very important to know what they have
And I
in
would,
place now and what changes after the fact.
the roads too, the roads, who's gonna pay
And
for
how
it?
long has Vernon asked the Village of Big Bend to work with us on Big Bend Drive?
And they
this
don't have
is-
any money.
No, yeah, it's not a cut to the Village of Big Bend because they were very sincere because, in fact, I'm working on a grant, where Quick Trip is, where the state owns land, the county, Big Bend, Vernon. I wanted to get just that interchange when they're doing National Avenue. I'm working on that. But we've asked Big Bend about Big Bend Drive because we get so many complaints about that road. And they just, are triaging their roads and they just couldn't afford it. I'm not trying to be mean. That was just the fact. You have a question, Jeff.
I
Yes.
just have a really quick question about the whole parking issue, because they're proposing the 1,500 parking spots. And I had mentioned to Ryan that, well, what about all the buses that are going to be coming in to bring all these kids in? Because it's going to be big coach buses, not just little, school buses. And he said, oh, they'll probably park at like McDonald's or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever.
Oh.
But what about all the additional parents that are going to be there? So say it's projected 2,000 to 3,000 people on Saturday, and you have 1,500 spots, and you have 3,000 people. There's multiple, grandmas, grandpas are coming, and everything like that. So my issue that I have is with the whole parking, because I'm right on Fernwood, so I'm right there. So is there a way for the Village of Vernon, if it were to go through, for you guys to put up no parking signs for event parking, so that our neighbors can still have family and stuff over and park on our road, but have some kind of ordinance put up that, these residential roads are only for the residents, not for event parking?
I don't know if we can specify.
I don't know if we can
that.
specify, but
We could put up no.
the other
parking
thing to keep in
signs.
mind is we share, like Skyline, for example,
Right.
is a shared road. So we can do it on our portion of the road,
Okay.
but it's not something we could obviously stretch into Big Bend and say,
No, not stretching to Big Bend, but because Fernwood, we're Village of Vernon.
right,
so
no, I know,
if
I'm
we
just
could-
saying
if
like,
we could get a sign, if it were to
So
go
it would be
through.
everybody.
Right.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. So like, we couldn't even use our road to park on anymore.
Yeah.
We'd have to park all of our vehicles. Any visitors would have to park. If we end up with no parking, obviously the way they're talking, this is gonna be a 7-day-a-week place. That's their goal, is to try and run it forever. every day of the week they can. So we would no longer be able to park on our own roads. If we had a party, we'd have to move parties to a different venue.
Or you could park on their parking lot. No, I'm sorry.
Another thing, Waukesha police, the police actually, that Bible church, they actually have police directing traffic at times coming out of that Bible church. Now, Big Bend, we already know they'd have to increase their police staff. We already know they'd have to spend, I've seen the guy from, the chief of the fire station in Milwaukee say, you know, it takes well over a year to even get a new fire truck. I'm sure you saw the roundabout one that happened and dumped. This one, if they built that hotel, they don't have ladders that high. That would have to be special. And the other thing is you're talking youth sports, people having heart attacks, kids getting concussions. Their EMT staff would have to be fully, you know, they'd have to be around the clock. And, you know, naturally, you know, Karen, and everybody, you know, they'll ask communities to come help. And the closest one is Vernon Village to this. You know, which, you know, I believe they would assume that Vernon Village, even though you called, would actually be there to assist all the time. They would have to have staff for that permanently, all 3 shifts or whatever time period they got going. And they don't have, we all know they don't have money to begin with. But, you know, the reason why they chose to go with 1 cop and 4 volunteer, you know, part-time cops in Big Bend now. Something this size, they'd have to have every exit covered, you know. And then again, they gotta have one for their own community. And that would have to be every shift. So I'm assuming at very least 4 or 5 policemen at all time for Big Bend. I don't know how many fire trucks, because of the size of this, I don't know the ruling on that as to how many, not necessarily fire trucks, but how many firemen they would have to have hired. But the EMTs would have to be highly increased also, because it being an injury area with 500,000 people showing up a year, they would have to pay a lot of money for EMTs to come in, and they shouldn't be asking us to you know, they shouldn't. As they do now, I'm just saying.
I just want to add one more thing. I'm really sorry. We're talking out of turn. I know you guys got a million things to do. But getting back to that ordinance, if you're going to draft a new ordinance for parking, a lot of these sports groups, the parents are now putting the children in, coming in RVs. And they're just spending the night in their RV in the parking lot. So any kind of an ordinance you do, so if they don't have to spend money on hotels and food and all that, dragging these kids around. So if you put anything in your ordinance, maybe overnight parking, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out
You have to
there.
mind that's on Big Bend property.
I know, that's the problem.
Okay,
But across the street
I
on
don't
Sky,
know.
like on Skyline.
Yeah, but that's even a good point for our ordinance. After she said that, I thought, God, I gotta check that.
They have generators.
It's a good point.
Those RVs have generators.
We'll look into
Oh,
So those generators are going all night. So with the
We're
noise
trying.
and all that stuff, yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. Forgot
Alright.
not to do.
All right, so I think the best plan right now is for everybody to write to your DA and Schober, their attorney, get letters into them before their next meeting.
And we'll make a statement.
Um,
Can you guys put the DA's information on the website?
yep.
To make it easy. I mean, we just got it, but it would be helpful.
Yep, I'll put it up first thing in the morning, and I'll get you Attorney Schoberg's information also.
and also, I think they moved their next plan commission meeting to the 3rd Thursday of the month, same night as their board meeting, but I'm not sure.
Yes, they did stated that.
So we may have to.
Should we reschedule ours then?
Yeah, well, they're not going to reschedule theirs.
Right.
So I don't think that's on the agenda, but we maybe have to do that later
about
this
that,
week.
yeah.
All right. Any other further comments or questions? Yes.
Question about Skyline. Half of it is Vernon, half of it is Big Bend. You can tell them, no, we're not going to do anything to your half of the road. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. Yay.
You'd have to allow access.
Well, yeah, you can.
But you would think
But
of, you would
we
think of
don't have
a
to-
development of this big, they would have all interior roads, not affecting little dinky.
Yeah, I saw it's supposed to have
Residential.
one main entrance in and out of the place on the 164.
No, but they had cross streets too, going on town line and stuff. And you should never do that on a, no offense, on a little residential, not with a development like this. It should- Is that where you live, Matt? Oh my God.
So. All right, any other comments?
I just wanted to thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank
thank you.
All right, you guys mind deviating? Sheriff's here. You have anything for us, or anybody have anything for him?
I got nothing for you guys.
Okay.
Lieutenant, does the county, does the Fox River Church, do they contract with the county? Because I've seen them do traffic control.
I don't really know.
No, I'm asking the lieutenant. Right.
It's a off-duty assignment. It's not on duty. It's off duty.
Oh, so the village of Waukesha is not paying for that?
No.
Okay. Because like I said, there's a lot of traffic,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Much
moving
different
on
environment
to
tonight. Thank you.
Resolution 2026-01, a resolution authorizing the
Okay,
village
sounds
president
good. Thanks,
to
dear.
secure funding for the new fire engine. Well, we approved it last meeting. We just gotta
Just do it.
do the resolution.
Have the bank working on it now, but the attorney, the auditor likes to see a resolution, a formal resolution done by the village board. Yes, just to it. And sign resolution 2026-01.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Then we have resolution 2026-02, a resolution rescinding and charging back of taxes due to palpable error.
Mr. President, occasionally this does happen with our assessor, and he caught this error. And what the village board would do is obviously adopt this resolution and authorize the staff to cut a check for $1,284.19. Then what I do is I submit this information to the state of Wisconsin, and it's fully refunded back to the village of Vernon. Fully refunded. So, but this is always done by resolution, and all the information is sent to the Department of Revenue, and you will recover every dime of this. Yes, I do, and authorize the village president to sign and authorize staff to cut a check in the amount of $1,284.19.
All right, I'll make that resolution for 2026-20A resolution rescinding charging back taxes due a palatable error for how much?
$1,284.19. 19.
Second.
And then in that motion, did you authorize the village president to sign?
Oh, yes.
And then you authorize us to do the manual check. Okay, thank you.
All right, motion's been made in second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes unanimously. Instruct administrator clerk to develop a request for proposal for police service for the village of Vernon. Didn't we do that last meeting?
You did it, but you didn't give me any instructions on, what do you want the same hours you have now? Do you what do you want me to ask for? Because you couldn't do an RFP because you don't do, but what I would do is send letters out to other municipalities asking if they'd be interested, but I'd kind of like to know what hours you wanted, or.
I'd stay the same for now.
I would say the 5-year contract we had with the sheriff, very similar to that.
And the hours, that's the biggest.
Same, but we're
40 hours.
5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And that fluctuates.
Yeah, let's take the old county sheriff contract we had with them for the 5 years and kind of
Okay.
mirror that, I think.
Okay, I just needed to know.
I'm not sure about how the card thing would work though, but
Well, I'm sure they're not gonna buy a car.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, cause the sheriff.
Do we really need something
we
with our
paid the
name on it,
sheriff
though?
to-
No.
I don't think any of us really care.
Yeah, but we don't need our name on the car.
Yeah. So maybe take out needing our own car saying Vernon.
Yep. Okay, I just needed some direction before I drafted the letters, but I got it. Got it.
All right, Waukesha County Fire Department consultation report from June of 2018. That was in the packet.
That was just the PowerPoint, and Lynn did submit, and I'll put that in your library because it's over 1,000 pages. And that's the comprehension. Lynn had said, Lynn, did you read it all?
No, what I did was I requested through Open Records, through the Waukesha County Executive's Office, for everything surrounding that 2018 report. So I got all the backdrop information and all the data. That's what's hundreds and hundreds of pages. What I submitted was specifically the report. So what you have in your packet is the presentation on the report.
Yeah, so with that many pages, you probably should have time to read everything.
There's other surveys and other studies and other data in the stuff that I received. I just asked for it all. So it's helpful.
Thanks, Lynn.
I did notice in that report they had Vernon response times, and we were one of the highest compared to all the other communities and stuff. And
I did notice that too.
I mean, highest mean fastest.
Yes.
not longest. ALS agreement with the Village of Waukesha, Big Bend, Waterford, Town of Genesee, and Tishigan.
This came up at the finance meeting. We said we'd put it on the agenda. I mean, not that you'd have to act at this point, but I don't know if you want if you want to discuss those now. Do you want finance to do a little bit of background work on them? What would you like?
Are we able to charge a additional fee to respond to these communities versus just what's been sent to the insurance?
It depends what the communities agree to.
Well, between Vernon and like
Waukesha.
Village of Waukesha, is the pay back and forth the same?
That's something we're checking into.
It isn't?
Yeah, why don't you come up here, Chief?
It's supposed to be. But did you read the agreement between the two? We're not doing what the.
If you guys would remember from a while back, we had a discussion about, go back about 5 years, where Village of Waukesha's billing rates hadn't been adjusted in years. So one of the things that came about when we had the shared services committee meetings was that we wanted to have continuity between the two communities if we transported for them and vice versa. So they were going to adjust their rates to be in line with ours. I believe last month they just revisited ours again. I believe they should be pretty close to each other now. The billing company, we now have the same billing company. Before this all kind of transpired, we had different billing companies, so there was a little bit of a challenge with some of the cooperation between the two companies. Moving forward, what we have now is the intercept agreement that we sent them is being reviewed by, I believe, Ramsey, the attorney, just to make sure there's nothing there that there's an issue. It's a pretty standard, same agreement we've had with every other fire department that we do intercepts for. Essentially, it creates a fee for $450 that's charged to the fire department, and then that fire department incorporates that fee into their billing process to charge the customer. There's federal law, Medicaid rules that only one EMS service can bill a patient for the same call. So that's how we kind of accomplish it, is that we'll be charging them intercept fee if our paramedics transport with them. We've also expanded to, during certain timeframes, we're going to send our ambulance on a call, and if we do transport, then we obviously will do the complete transport fee. So that'll be a little bit more of a revenue stream, so to speak. But the goal is to make sure we continue to provide good quality care to our customers, wherever they live. We do intercepts for a couple different communities. the intercept agreement that's in effect with Wales Genesee basically is going to be is null and void because that was signed when it was the Wales Genesee Fire Department. They are now part of Lake Country Fire Protection District, so they don't have that need from us anymore because they have their own paramedics. So I think overall the fee itself is pretty acceptable in terms of most industry standards. Village of Mugwanago, they charge $557 for an intercept, but they do very few of them now. Their main contract was Village of East Troy, but because the Village of East Troy has increased their care to paramedic, they now have really stopped calling them unless it's a multiple call situation. So we're waiting to hear back from Village of Waukesha, but our goal was to, and again, things take time. Having their board meet or their village president talk with their legal counsel, they're reviewing it. The fire chief supports what we're doing there. We've got a great working relationship with the two communities. So I'm hopeful that'll be resolved fairly quickly here, that we'll be moving forward with that process. And then we're going to be able to streamline that process with the billing company so that everything's internal reports. There's not a very drawn out process, and it's all done internally in terms of the transfer of funds and things like that between the two communities. And then obviously on a monthly basis, you get that report from the billing company to say, here's what you had, here's what we billed, here's what was transferred, type thing.
Do we need to update the contract with Big Bend, Waterford, Michigan? It's still
No, all the contracts are written to basically be in effect until they're either someone wants to review them or someone wants to change them or wants to cancel it.
That $450 was since 2015, correct? That's when Village of Waukesha we signed that agreement.
Actually, that fee, that number has been a county standard for probably the mid 2000s. Actually, that's what everyone kind of agreed to in terms of all the different fire departments that did intercepts, Mugwanago, us, and that was how that number kind of came about. How we came up with that number, I have no clue. It was just a number that seemed like it was a good balance between being able to recoup your costs, generate a little bit of revenue, but also not take advantage of another community.
Mugwanago charges $575.
557.
557.
How they come up with 557, I have no idea. But I know that they do more of their focus in Mugwanago is doing the interfacility stuff between the Pro Health Mugwanago ER and the main campus in Waukesha. So their intercept business has really gone down substantially in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Okay. Put the screws to them.
all right. So do we need a motion authorizing this for the Village of Waukesha, or what do we?
We're waiting to get it back from them.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to wait until, or I mean, I don't know if anything really needs to be approved. It's the standard.
Okay.
Can we
agreement.
increase that number? Is it something we could do or request?
How about we talk with our billing company and see if I can get an idea of what we have for besides Mugwanago, if there's a common number out there, maybe we can look at bringing it in line with that so that we can see if
Hasn't gone up in 10 years. Maybe it's time for a slight increase.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, you can look into that. Chief.
Yep, I'll talk with Shannon and we'll see what they have for, because she can do rate structures and she can do a bunch of different. That's what we typically do every year when we revisit our fees. We look at how much is Lake Country charging for mileage, how much is Western Lakes, how much is, and then we kind of come into line with that. So I'll report back to you on that.
Okay. All right, moving on to authorized communications with neighboring municipalities regarding joint fire and EMS service.
Finance, and if that's something you want me to send those letters out, I'd be happy to do that. I don't know what's going to happen, but at least if people ask about, if people ask you, well, have you talked to other communities, at least you'd have a record.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, there may be some opportunities developing in certain geographic areas of the county for at least some discussion. And like we talked about before, having the discussion is healthy. It kind of makes everyone understand that we're all in the same position with the same challenges. And if we can make something better for the communities, we're all for it from a fire department standpoint.
Village of Waukesha gotten anywhere with our expansion of their fire department and DPW, or is that
I have no
still
clue.
on?
Have not heard.
I think they passed, so they're gonna start building the building.
Where they're gonna build it?
Right
Or-
there in that field.
Say, what did they pass? They're gonna start building it, or where they're gonna build it?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was some of their fears. Well, we don't want to change anything because it might not go through or something. Yeah. So.
Oh, what a shame.
I'll check with him myself.
Okay.
I'll make sure it's done. 'Cause he told me I thought.
Do you need a formal motion?
Yeah, just for the record.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on, board direction to the Vernon Finance Committee. We got a few topics there to.
Right, I just wanted to know if the village board wants the finance committee to start working on these issues. Obviously, they won't make any decisions. All they do is collect information and bring that to the village board so that you guys can make good decisions.
Yeah, I say let them start working on it. Are we meeting?
You're meeting
Wednesday night before?
5 o'clock. So to start, well, I was going to meet an hour before Plan Commission. You will be reviewing January bank recs. I want to give you the status of where we are in December. But I just want you to know that there's some journal entries that I want to do so we don't have to pay the auditor to do them. I mean, it's kind of standard policy, but we'll give you an update on a lot of things. And then Finance Committee hopefully will break down in subgroups. I know Lynn and Dennis had volunteered to come and watch, and I'd like I'd like people from the Finance Committee to actually see some of the financial software that we're looking at. So it's coming next Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
Just before Plan Commission.
Yeah, right. That's just finance, so you don't have to go, Jay. And it's a public meeting. So, okay, did the board want to make a motion, or is this by consensus? You want the finance committee to handle these? Bring this information to the village board. Okay.
All right, reimbursement amount for tax refunds.
I know you had this on your agenda last time, but we have an unwritten policy that's anything under $1 we don't refund. And I can tell you, we have, poor Jerry, we have this little cash because people are short 20 cents, 15 cents. So we're paying those. Otherwise, they're going to get a fine. And that's not the issue. The issue is when someone's got, when we issue checks for $5, it takes an act of God to get people to cash those $5 checks. But I would like a written policy, and I'd write that for the village board. But is there a dollar amount that we don't send a check for?
How much does a check cost and how long? does
Well,
it
just
take
to mail
write
it, 74 cents.
The check itself probably costs 50 cents.
Right, and we've always had an unwritten. At least I could not find anything formal.
I say we up the amount to $5.
I agree.
Okay, then and then I'll write the policy, and if someone has an issue with that, I'm sure, if somebody would say, hey, you owe me $5, I'm sure you wouldn't deny it.
Come to
but
the board meeting, we'll give them $1.
Yeah, each little.
I'll draft a policy for you gentlemen
Okay.
and bring it back.
Invoice for Tim Roth.
Boy, guys, I don't know if you could follow all this, but this poor guy got the shaft big time. I mean, when he was charged $400 for him to expedite his request, and it didn't come till January, that $400 automatically should come off of his bill. And all the other charges, when someone supplies a certified survey map to a community, you have 3 months. That's why, when I get a certified survey map, even if it's awful and wrong, that's fine. Usually they don't do that because we give them a list of what we require. But a municipality only has 3 months to make a decision on that certified survey map. So he has an outstanding bill of $629. I mean, I'm bringing it to you because I think he has no problem of what he's already paid, but he's got that outstanding bill. I don't know why Brad kept sending it back to the attorney. I mean, if anybody remembers, I don't know if you're on the plan commission, that's the problem with when you have, oh, come on, what's the name of it, Jeff? When villages and cities have extraterritorial zoning rights, when cities and villages inflict that on towns, it's really, really sad because there's no way the town of Waterford ordinances come anywhere near ours. So these poor people have to bring a certified survey map to a village or a city to see if it would conflict. I could see if it was on the road next door, but this property was way in the town of Waterford, but within our jurisdiction. I mean, you see how much that poor gentleman paid.
What do you say, $400 we had to get rid of?
Well, right off the bat, I mean, he paid an extra $400 to expedite that certified survey map, and it didn't get on the agenda till 2 months later. That's not expedition.
Do you think the other $229?
Oh, I think his fees are outrageous. What was he? If I was a board member, I would ask myself, why was the attorney putting all that legal review into a certified survey map that there's no way in God's green earth that it's going to pass?
Makes any difference for us? Yeah.
The bill shows $298.20 in legal fees. The previous balance of $361.
Right. I mean, I think his invoice should be voided, and he should be, that $400 should be reimbursed back to him.
I agree. All right, I'm for it.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay.
For the, what, $629?
59, $659.59.
$659.59.
Oh, I'm sorry, and that was Gary and Dylan, right?
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Sparrow IT Solutions for Security and Managed Services and authorize village president to sign.
This is in the budget. You've budgeted for this, but there's something they want signed, and I can't do that. So it's got to come to you if you approve it.
So why did it take so long for our computer that was brand new?
I don't.
And that
that's
was
from Dell.
Was that Sparrow who did that?
No, the it had to go back to Dell computer. It wasn't. I mean, Sparrow didn't make this. The little. What do you call that little? It's not a laptop. The little.
It didn't. I mean, I understand it came from Dell, but we didn't buy it from Sparrow.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I don't. I can ask.
Because, how long did that take? That was
almost 2 months.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I had some concerns with that, and
yeah. I mean, this has nothing to do with that, but I can ask. Was it 2 months?
It was at least 2 months, I thought.
yeah, it was before your vacation. Well, before your vacation, and then it got installed after you came back, didn't it?
Right. Well, it was ready at the last meeting, but none of my staff knows how to run the. Well, and even if I showed them, they were a little nervous. So
Well, just look on YouTube, see when the last.
Yeah.
January, I think it was November. There was nothing in December.
Yeah, so you had all December and all of January.
Yeah, so I'll get something in writing from them on that issue.
Yeah. So I don't think it should have taken that long. If we bought it, yeah.
Yeah, I've never had to return a computer. Have you?
Well, usually it's
I've warranted a
Yeah,
battery.
yeah.
before.
You return it and you get a new one right away. Yeah, and there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I feel like go wrong with this Sparrow. So what are we?
They just started.
Is that the guy who comes in here all the time to fix all the
No, he had
issues?
his own company, but he works for this company now.
So now it's a different
It's a different company.
owner. Okay.
Yes. This is the company that found all our problems in our wonderful software that the village bought
Okay.
and turned them in. Sorry.
So we need a motion on this?
Yes, and authorize the village president to sign.
Yeah.
Okay, this is in the amount of $14,196, I believe.
And this is separate from the new microphones and equipment?
Yes.
Got it.
And you did budget for this.
motion, anyone second?
I
Second by trustee Pecca. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes unanimously. Now, new microphones and streaming equipment.
Yep. You saw the two quotes. It's very, very difficult to get somebody to come in here that wants to do this. If you want, I can try to get another quote. I mean, I definitely wouldn't go with the one company that we bought all the equipment from that failed.
What company?
That was
Metro Sound.
I think this is kind of an urgent thing. I think we should try and get somebody in here pretty quick.
I mean, we've never.
So Sparrow is one of the quoters, right?
No. Metro Sound and Miles AV
They're
equipment.
security.
I was reading them today.
Right. They did it before Metro Sound came in. It's a good company. I mean, I don't know if we need, I don't think I'd get 12 microphones. We need, 5 for the board. We need 3 more for plan commission, a planner. Well, we do need 11.
It just seemed like a lot of money for microphones.
Well, you know why? They're cordless. Because when you have to rip this thing apart for an election and to put it back together with all this stuff that, and I really would like, OBS, this technology is so old. I want something, that streams right from Spectrum so that there's not, the lapse goes right to YouTube. There's no.
It should be easy. It should be by the press of a button.
Right. That's what it is.
Anybody should be able to do it.
And that's what he's putting in. So then if a staff member, or, if you want to, if somebody was running a meeting, it's not do this,
For transparency's sake, I think it's worth the money.
Wasn't the second one cheaper?
You like the best? You said?
Do I like what?
Is that the company you like?
Oh, the Miles, yeah. They're, if we ever had anything wrong, they're there within an hour. Metro Sound, they did come in and, fix stuff so that we could go up and running. But I was really disappointed because we spent a lot of ARPA money on updating a system that crashed. It has nothing to do with our IT people. That was their equipment. And they do a ton of churches. But you're also spending $400,000 on a church system. Big money.
They have divine guidance. No.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems like a lot of money. But, well, just for us, yeah. It's what's almost $34,000.
Wasn't Metro Sound more?
Oh, God, yes.
You took
It was
the
like
total.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the issue Big Ben just had. I don't want to be in that situation.
No. No.
I don't think we need the camera upgrade. I don't know what your gentleman's opinion are. He did quote that just in case we wanted it, but
Are these cameras still working good?
I think they're fine.
Aren't they
look good.
20 years old?
If
No,
we're gonna,
No, we
they're.
just
I
replaced
thought
one of
they
them.
were from 100 years ago. No,
they're new.
they're like 8 years or 9 years old.
Do we just?
It's up to you.
If we're
It's
getting
only
everything
1900,
new, should
but
we just get and then?
whatever you decide. Like I said, I mean,
What would it save us?
If they're working.
1900.
Oh, okay. For both of them?
Oh, the whole.
When you're
fr-
talking
both
the
cameras.
difference between that and a $30,000 invoice,
Right.
I think you just replace it and get the system that works, and you get the support behind it.
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're going to end up in that situation. Something important's going to come up,
And it's gonna break.
there's going to be 300 people here, and it's going to break.
Right. Right.
So let's do the.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
That's for the upgrade and microphone.
And the camera,
Yep. With
everything.
Oh, everything. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes unanimous. Generator for the Village of Vernon.
Okay, before I go ahead, gentlemen, I need to ask you, I had 2 commercial master electricians come and look at our generator. And they said, it might be old, but there's not a lot of miles on it. And we have not had a generator for months. And thank God we haven't had a power surge or anything. but my question is, I got a new bid because what we have here was way over what we actually need. So I did have Walter give me a report on what we actually would need if you decide to do a new generator. Then I also have the information on we can buy a portion for the motherboard for the generator. It's probably going to be about $8,000, $8,000 to $9,000. But it could be repaired with that. So my question is do you want me to put a little bit of research into that, into the motherboard, or do you just want to replace the whole thing?
So what's the difference?
Well, about 30,000 for a brand new one and about 8 to 9 on the piece, the motherboard.
I say try to see if we can get a motherboard.
Because both of those
I know what I'm thinking.
I would agree.
both electricians said, this, he said it looks old, but he said it's in good shape.
The generator?
Yeah, okay, because then I won't bid it out, and then, because I do have a volunteer that's really good and as cheap as he can. If anybody can find it, he can, so. Oh, yeah, so I'm gonna get them working on it right away. Is that okay, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I'll make a motion to find a motherboard for the generator.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Change order for $21,646 for the center drive and authorize village president to sign the change order.
And that was in your packet, gentlemen. Unfortunately, that's part of doing business, and we were well aware that this was coming from, so what we have to do is approve the change order. Jeff has to sign, and it's in the accounts payable already with our other the $2,000 change order.
That was all thanks to DNR.
Yes. But payback is, no, I'm sorry.
Because we did the change order to put the fabric in, they
Right.
wanted, now we gotta get the gravel on top of it.
Right.
Well, I will make a motion to approve the change order for $21,646 and authorize the village president to sign.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Vernon candidate information for Vernon website. There was a list of questions presented. Anybody else have any?
And we get requests, Mr. President and board members, for, people always say, well, geez, there's no information on the local candidates. And we were going to ask Waukesha County or the Freeman to share the county supervisor races. Anything we can get, we can provide links on our website to other offices. But we thought if we had these questions, and they're pretty standard, and the candidates would know, there's nothing secret about it. It's, and it tells them why we're asking it. So that way, and they don't have to, but if they would like to, at least the voters would have some idea of what their stance is on the opinions. And
I think that's a good idea. The Freeman did the same thing with us.
Oh, did they?
For I think it comes out tomorrow or something.
Oh, okay.
For
Who gets
county
the
supervisor.
Freeman? Yeah.
Oh, because they're going to contact board members that are up for re-election shortly too. They asked for that contact information, so.
So the thing you laid out, Kelly read, and that's the question.
Would recommend.
Yeah, I don't think we need a lot more.
Yeah.
You want it kind of concise.
Right. And you might want to limit their their responses to 500 words or because you could have a documentary.
Yeah, I would put a limit of words on
The
there.
Freeman did 100 words per question, I think.
That sounds good.
You-
500 words.
It's too much?
You can start writing chapters.
Yeah. Okay, so the candidate information and the responses limited to 100 words. Is that
Per question, yeah.
okay? Per question. I got that, Mr. President, but I just would need that in a motion form.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Spring brush pickup.
Yeah, we just need to know for the newsletter. You saw, I wanted to make sure that you all had this little handout from Waste Management. It tells, their pickup dates. But we need to know for the newsletter because I'd like to get that to you by the next board meeting. Do you still want to do a spring pickup?
We
Um,
talked about doing a spring pickup after the winter.
Okay.
Waste Management is offering it now for $130 for 11 pickups.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of hard for us to compete with that, isn't it?
So wouldn't we be better off just, because they get 11 pickups, where ours is just one pickup.
The question is that in the tote bag?
Yeah, it's the tote bag. Yep.
Tote bag.
Yeah.
Then those tote bags that people aren't gonna pay, like, go to Home Depot and pay $40 for those.
But you reuse them over and over and over. It's not like
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think you do.
Oh, really?
I think they're one time used.
Well,
They just grab it with a grabber and chuck it in the truck.
Oh, they don't dump it and put the bag back?
Oh, those bagsters, no.
Yeah, he said they're $40 or $50 a piece. I thought you could reuse them.
No.
And when they had that.
I forgot about that.
Spring pickup, I thought.
So it would be.
Wait, you got two different people talking.
Go ahead.
Well, when you say that, $139 a year, I thought that Waste Management would come around and pick it up with the people supplying their own containers. And if they had rush.
No, I don't think.
No. No, it has to be in that bag.
I was mistaken. Yeah, it is. It is a.
But they aren't gonna provide the bag.
No.
We gotta go buy the bag.
The resident would have to buy the bag. Yeah,
every
we won't buy them.
I just bought one of the here last year, and they're $30.
Oh.
$159 to come pick it up. So I'm wondering if the bag is smaller or something like that.
No, he said the bags you get at Menards, Home
The
Depot,
bagster?
Lowe's. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Baxter, and then they'll pick it up for $139.
30.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, 130.
$130 during the year. They'll pick them up for that.
Right, and then he did email the schedule, so the residents could see the pickup days.
Yeah, no one's going to.
Yeah, so
You're gonna have a couple of 3 pickups a year.
well, and we'll put this in the news about it no matter what. But the issue is are we having a spring pickup? And Brett would like it at the end of April.
Sure.
If you decide to do that,
I think we could probably still do it.
whatever you decide.
They could pick up $100 worth, and I don't know how many people we'll get, but if it's under 50, maybe in the future we decide we don't want to do it.
We charge for a pickup on the spring.
It's 100.
$100.
That's what,
Well, yeah, so.
Are you still having times where people are able to bring their branches in and drop?
At the end of April.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
You can add it to the pile that's already there.
That's fair.
So, yeah, that's fine.
All right,
Okay.
So let's.
End of April, $100 per. Okay, I just needed to know so we get
You need
this
Make sure you got a sign up date by.
right.
Yeah.
And the same.
We'll put the form.
Specs of size of pile.
Right. We'll put the form that we used last year, unless you didn't think that was appropriate, because we put that in the newsletter.
And then I think we can eliminate the fall pickup and just rely on.
Spring pickups when the sticks. all
That's the big
leaves are
one.
gone, you just get the sticks, get it going, yeah.
Maybe mention there
No
will not
fall
be a
pickup.
fall pickup. and
Okay.
Other options are waste management then.
Okay.
Well, only in this, no.
They can always.
Fall either. So we gotta rent the grinder. So it'll just be a spring pickup.
Or burn them. Sorry.
And then, or do the bag the rest of the year with,
But they can bring them themselves,
in the spring.
only in the spring.
Yeah, cause we don't wanna rent a,
Yeah, because that's $3,000.
You
Right.
won't rent a grinder.
yeah,
okay,
to come
that's-
back in and,
Right, just get it in spring then.
yeah.
That's a.
And Brett is good. I mean, if there is really adverse weather and,
If we
he
have
does
some
work
big
with
tornadoes
people.
through or something in the summer, we
Right.
can change it.
Right. If it's a bad.
Okay. Got what I need, gentlemen.
Okay. Well, moving on to correspondence and announcements and reports. I have nothing to add at this time. We'll go backwards. Trustee Earth,
I have nothing to report.
Trustee Newman,
I think we covered most of what I would say with public comments. I'm good.
Trustee Finch,
If you go to the Super Bowl party, make sure you drive home safely. Have a good time at the party.
Jay,
Well, I'd like to emphasize, don't drink and drive. I've had relatives killed by drunk drivers.
all All right, DPW report was in there. He's going through a lot of salt.
And he did put in there that we got another 500 tons, right?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, good. I just want to let you know because the salt shed was, we have a couple DPW guys that have been here for many, many years and they've never seen the back of the salt shed in as long as we've never gone through that much salt in a season. So, and they'll be out tomorrow morning just so everybody knows.
Boards look good back there?
Yeah,
They
yes.
look good, yeah.
They're solid.
Karen, you have a report?
Oh, just wanted to remind everybody, we do have the 24th County Supervisor position. Voting started on the 3rd. And if people need a special time to come and vote, please call me. I wanted to reiterate, the Village of Vernon or any staff member has not had any application or any inquiries from anyone in regard to that high voltage switching station. In your packet, Terry Winiarski was on the internet and found that it's the RFP for the 4 contractors that are looking to do the work on this. But, there's a lot of false information about, Vernon has an application, Vernon, and I did talk to Katie, the clerk in the Village of Big Bend, because she had calls asking if they had an application. So I updated my report to say that Katie and I are going to be in constant contact. If they get any inquiries, any application, they're going to let us know immediately, just so that the board's aware that we'll stay in full contact with the Village of Big Bend on that issue. And then what else do I have? Oh, I wanted to thank everyone for all the donations for the homeless veterans. My Tahoe was packed to the brim with donations. There had to be at least 15 to 20 brand new winter jackets for the veteran. Oh, it was unbelievable. So I'll put a thank you in the newsletter for that. And then I put some information in the packet on legislation that the League of Municipalities is working on. And as I stated, the planner report, anything I'm getting from Big Bend or other sources, that's going to go on our Facebook and website so residents have that information. And I did text the information to put on our website for the Waukesha County District Attorney and Attorney Mike Schulberg. And that's all I have, gentlemen.
All right, moving on to finances. We had 3 batches. First one is in the amount of $3,522.73.
You can do them all in one big batch, Jeff.
One big $454.
Do we have a grand total?
Yeah, right here.
460.
Right in the green on the back.
Oh, yeah, but she forgot.
Oh.
Yeah, but just take out don't do the Citibank one because that has to be, it's 463,869.24. That's your AP amount.
All right, is there a motion to approve the APs in that amount?
463,869.24.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. Accounts payable. Batch 2026-0205.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. We have that manual check.
Yeah, there's one for $744.88, and then there's a $20 one, so that your manual check will be $764.88.
Okay, $764.88.
Yes.
I guess I'll make the motion to approve the manual check in the amount of manual checks in the amount of $764.88.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes unanimously. Village board minutes. First one's from January 15th.
That's okay with me. I guess I'll make a motion to approve the January 15th, 2026 village board minutes.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Yeah, you're too slow. All right, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes unanimously. And then minutes from January 22nd for village board.
Oops, there's an extra 2 in there, I'm sorry.
Or-
There's an extra 2 in that.
20,226.
It's a long time from now, guys. It should be 2026. I'm sorry.
I will make a motion to approve the village board and finance committee minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I don't know, I'm looking at the 22nd. What do you mean? All right, our next meeting, our February 2nd, absentee voting in the clerk's office and spring primary for the 24th county supervisor position. February 5th and February 19th, we have village board meetings, which may be changing on the 19th. February 7th, Saturday from 8 till noon, absentee voting in the clerk's office for the spring primary, the 24th county supervisor position. And February 11th, we'll have village board and plan commission meeting and
At 6.
finance.
Yeah, the plan could, yeah. And finances at 5 and plan commission village board at 6.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I want to stay.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.